I'm your host, Sarah Baus, and welcome to Attainable Podcast. All right, welcome to the podcast. If you're on YouTube, yeah, we finally got the camera thing working. Oh my God, I hope we got the camera thing working. If this is a audio-only podcast, then you know that something messed up with the camera, but I think we got it working. Oh my God, guys, technology, like the whole podcast setup thing. I really jump into things and I don't like to think before I go because I usually overthink and it goes poorly. So I was like, no, we're just gonna like dive in. Like I want to have a better podcast setup. I want to be cool. I want a video. Yeah. And I didn't realize like how much went into like podcast tech. Cause I mean, for the last, almost 3 years, like I've had a really simple, I'm not even going to, I've had an embarrassingly simple setup where people ask me questions and I'm like, no, you don't understand like how little I've been doing this with. But goes to show like you could totally do a podcast like with very little things. Honestly, you need a mic. That's kind of it. But like, anyway, I'm not going to go rambling on about the tech. I really hope that the YouTube is up and I hope that the quality is good and I hope their reels are good because of that. It's a whole thing. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you are doing amazingly beautiful, stunning. My many henny is not up to par. Many henny meaning mental health. And so I'm quite excited for this episode because this is going to be a funny one. It's time to rat out your siblings. I put out a story for people to submit some where they are ratting out their siblings anonymously. I'm going to tell a story about mine that I don't think he'll mind. I didn't actually ask, but this is one that I think he'll be all right. And I've been reading through these a little bit, and oh my God, like my favorite response was when somebody was like, "It's too long. I'm gonna have to message you." I was like, "Yes, please give me it all." But I thought I start I'll start with my own. And this podcast episode actually came about because of this story that I remembered. And if you don't know, my little brother and I are 10 years apart. And so so I felt like a little mom to him, like by the time, I'm 13, 15, he's 3, 5, like I was off to college, before he was out of elementary school. And right? 8? Yeah. Which, oh, that's so crazy. The fact that he's in high school now is really gross. Anyway, so and he's he's the like epitome of like little brother. Um anyway, so when we were driving in the car one day, he was in the car seat in the back, and I think he was maybe 3, or he was old enough where he was facing the front. You know how like baby car seats, it will face the back. He was old enough where he was facing the front, and his legs could dangle off, and but he was young enough where he still had a high chair, or like a car seat, whatever, and a full one with the back and straps, whatever. And we turn around, and this child in his little hand is holding a McDonald's, like half of a McDonald's hamburger. Now, we hadn't been to McDonald's in weeks, although this little boy loved him some McDonald's. He loves his sweets. He loved like nasty junk food. And it was like hardened, like a nasty, hardened half McDonald's cheeseburger. And we go, like, because mom was driving and I was in the front. We're like, where did you get that? And he doesn't answer. He's just eating it, which is disgusting. And then he takes his other little hand and reaches under his arse, under his behind, and just pulls out a fry. And I was like, what? And he keeps doing it. Keeps reaching and pulling out food. Pulls out a chicken nugget. Turns out that this child at 3 years old had been like, whenever we had food in the car, whenever we did go to McDonald's or whatever, he would take some of it and stuff it. Parents, check your car seats, because he would stuff it in the hole, like where his seatbelt went in, I guess. And he could reach down, and he had a little food storage unit there. It's like a little chipmunk. He had, hardened, petrified food under his ass that he was just pulling. It looked like he was pulling chicken nuggets out of his behind. Freaking disgusting. I and I was like, oh my god, that is so beyond gross. And yeah, we had to make sure, like, we checked. We then, undid the car seat, and sure enough, there was like food under there. Freaking disgusting. Boys are so gross. So gross. But that was what I thought about that the other day. I was like, oh my god, I have to hear about like other things that other people's siblings did. Hence this podcast episode was born. And you guys did quite well. These are quite funny. So let's dive in. Let's go ahead and just throw them right under the bus. And if you enjoy this, please let me know. I really, really like these story submissions. So please let me know if you want some more and what other stories you want to hear. And of course, all these are anonymous, so nobody's, well, I guess if your siblings listening to this and they know they did it, then they know they wrote in. Anyway, first one, whenever I like this, whenever my sister thought I was lying, she would just say, God's always watching. That's so manipulative. I'm sure she was an older sister. I'm positive she was an older sister. There was a guy who wrote this in. Yeah, this, I'm just gonna keep getting reminded about me and Jonathan. Like when he was little, like he always wanted to play fight, and I was never that person, and we were never that type of siblings. Like we did not fight, we didn't hit. We couldn't. I was 10 years older. What were you going to fight? At 15, what were you going to fight a 5-year-old about? We would bicker back and forth, but then my mom would look at me and be like, why are you arguing with a toddler? I'm like, okay, well, he's being a dick, so I don't know what to tell you, Mom. But sometimes he would want to play fight. He'd be like, sissy, play fight, and be like, and finally, I was like, I'm not gonna fight, but he gets so mad, and I was like, sure, okay, like, but if we play fight, like, you can't get mad, you can't get upset. I didn't hurt him, but you just like push his, Jimmy Neutron noggin, and I could just push him over, and then he'd start crying because he landed on his behind on the floor, and he didn't, get to kick me again, and I was like, the rules. He's like, I'm like, no crying. You can't go to mom, can't go to dad. Not allowed to do that because that was the rules. And I will say he respected the rules. He never told. I don't know what he was going to tell. He asked me to fight and I shoved him over. Get out of here. All right, this is good. This is a long one. I really like I already see something. So I like read some of these like a little bit, but I haven't like read them completely. So, okay, she says, I was 7 and she was 3, so don't judge. Okay. I was so mad at her for something she did. The worst thing I thought I could do was fart on her bed. Fart on her bed while she wasn't in her room, and then tell her later to make her angry. I didn't have any gas to expel and ended up pooping on her bed instead. I told her later and she couldn't stop laughing. Are you kidding? Hold on. She couldn't stop laughing. I was 7, she was 3. So you shit on a 3-year-old's bed and the 3-year-old was laughing? I swear, I thought, like, have you seen the TikTok trend where the parents will like put like chocolate pudding? This is fucking disgusting. Will put like chocolate pudding on their fingers and like ask their toddler to come give them toilet paper and then wipe the chocolate pudding and be like, oh, I'm sorry. And like the toddlers are like gagging or like they'll start to cry. That must have been a really chill 3-year-old, although that's hysterical. Try to fart and you end up like sharting on her bed. How did you tell her? How did you tell your mom? How did you tell your mom? I need to know how you told your mom and what your mom said. All right, next. My oldest sister told the middle sister that silly putty was gum, so she ate it. Oh, that is bad. That is nasty. Oh, poor thing. Poor thing. This may be I'm just gonna have these little anecdotes. When I was in this wasn't a sibling thing. I still hold a grudge to this girl to this day. Not a grudge because we were in elementary school, but like a little judgment piece of my heart. Had this girl in elementary school that I was best friends with, and she got mad at me for, looking back, time has no concept when you're in elementary school. And so I thought she was mad at me for weeks. It could have been 3 days. And she got mad at me. And so at lunch one day, though, she came over and she handed me a fruit roll-up. Didn't say anything. She just handed me a fruit roll-up. And so I took it. She smiled and I took it. And I was like, oh, great. So and so, I'm not going to say her name. So and so's not mad at me anymore. So I started eating the fruit roll up, and this little girl, couple like seats down on the lunch table, goes, Sarah. And I was like, what? And she was like, why are you eating that? That came from the floor. This girl fed me a fruit roll up that had been on the cafeteria floor. She was still mad at me. Ugh, what a bitch thing to do. I hope she's doing well, but what the fuck? Anyway, LOL. Said Silly Putty was gum. What is the weirdest thing that you ever ate as a kid? That's what I want to know. So the story, Silly Putty ate it, thought it was gum. What is the weirdest thing that you ate as a child, or your sibling ate as a child, if you want to keep ratting them out? Next one. My brother accidentally kissed his boy best friend in a game of chicken. How do you accidentally kiss your best friend? I get it if it's a game of chicken. 100%, you got to do what you got to do. You got to face it, face the music. I still don't think that's an accident. You just pucker up and let her rip, Okay. This person put two different stories. And I think, yeah, okay, so two different stories. So this is two separate times, a little trauma. My sister locked me in a storage closet in the basement while folks were at work. Folks, I guess parents. Oh, how long were you in the basement? Also, how old were you? Because that has to be terrifying. I grew up in the South, so we didn't have basements. I think some houses had basements, but most didn't, especially Charleston, like we're sea level. We do not have basements. But oh my God. Okay, next thing. Same person. Oh, tried to break my wrists in the high chair and made me bust my mouth into the chair, making me have mouth surgery years later. That is demon behavior. That is straight demon behavior. Tried to break my wrists. Here's the thing with like I think about when I have kids and everything. I think I want them closer in age so that they can play and be close with each other. But this is the kind of stuff that I'm like, but then they're too close, when they're too close. And so they just freaking attack each other. Like Jonathan and I, we actually I'd say, there's certain things I'm sure we missed out on being 10 years apart, but I was also older, so, I knew not to try to break his wrists. Good God. Goodness, people are insane. Children are whack. All right. This is the last story. I feel like these went by really, really quickly. Last story. So she says, my sister created what she called the slap game. Rules. She listed them out. 3 rules. 1, she slaps harder each time. Does that mean you can't slap harder each time? 2, I couldn't cover my cheeks or use anything for protection. Oh, wait, she answered my question. Okay, first one, she slaps harder each time. 2, I couldn't cover my cheeks or use anything for protection. And 3, I wasn't allowed to hit back. She was 4 years older than me and came up with this when I was 5/6. This is just a 9-year-old just like having at it. Oh, see, this is when it's 2. I guess 4. Like I didn't think 4 years. Maybe 4 years is like that's the thing where you're not close enough where you're both same age, same understanding, same size sort of. So one can't really hit the other, and then you're not far apart enough where one of them has a little bit more sense of morals. 4 years and they're just rocking your shit. Oh, that is awful. I am so sorry. Are you close now? I hope so. My mom, she grew up in a family of I guess she had 2, I'm trying to think. I think 2 regular siblings, 2 blood siblings, 2 step siblings that she grew up with. And so she was in the middle. My mom is epitome middle child. So she was I'm pretty sure I gotta like go through my aunts and uncles, like Brian, Aaron, DJ, Jenny. I think I'm good. Yeah. Oh my God. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. Anyway. And like when she tells me stories of them when they were younger and the stuff they used to do, they were also like Gen Xers. I mean, they like to brag about how they did whatever and their life was, they were raised by the sun, but straight up, they would just do what the parents didn't know where their kids were at any times. They would just yell out the door to come home for dinner or something, be home. But I don't know how these people made it. I don't know how anybody like survived. Should they, they would ride their bikes around town alone at the age of 8. They'd be miles away from home. I just cannot conceptualize that. But like some of the things that they used to do to each other is insane. One, they used to play a lot of pranks on each other. One of them, Brian made like a booby trap in his room. So when you open the door, I think Yoda would hit you in the head. There's one. They used to, I think they used to like freeze the boys' underwear, and then the guys used to hang their dolls from the shower. At one point they tied Erin to the bed and put peanut butter between her toes. Why? Like, why? I don't think they had a pet. Like, why? Ugh, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. She used to get into fights, and I remember, okay, this is a good one. So she was the middle, and DJ is my uncle, is the older sibling. And I think he's the oldest. And every day, DJ, like, they won. They just beat each other up. All of them, I think, just beat each other up. I think the only one that didn't like get beat up was Jenny because she was the baby. And DJ would come home, and DJ makes the best sandwiches. To this day, makes the best sandwiches. And I guess he made the best sandwiches then. And he had this routine, according to Mom, that he would come home, make himself a sandwich, and then go to the bathroom. And Mom would go and steal his sandwich. And every day he'd beat her up for it. And he'd go, Susan is a cruising for a bruising. Again, I don't understand how Gen X lived. I don't understand how they're currently living. I don't understand how our parents literally made it through life. But, this was entertaining. Thank you so much for everybody who submitted. I think I need to collect like more of these next time, because I thought like I had a lot of stories. I think that this went by like quite quickly. So definitely, if you see us doing story submissions and you think you might have one, or you don't, just like think, pull it out of your noggin, submit your stories, because we love to hear them. And let me know how you like these episodes and what we should do next. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you so much as well. I know that the podcast was late this week. So thank you for your patience as we're getting this up a day late. But give you some time to catch up on the other podcast episodes. I love you so very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.